And I haven't even thought any of this out. And that's another thing. This is still so new. So I'm sure my feelings and emotions about this will evolve. But I didn't think about any of that. It was just okay. Like you said, did I grow up wanting to be a wrestler? No. But did I fall in love with the business in the meantime? Absolutely.
Hey guys, we're here at the Pink Square Circle. We will talk about real reasons Sonya Deville was not renewed in her WWE contract. Why did WWE not re-sign Sonya Deville? Let's get the lights as we come to the Pink Square Circle. We know Sonya Deville, she recently did an interview on her podcast called Daria Toni Unwrapped, talking about she was in negotiations with a new WWE deal. And then she got the call that she was not going to be released with WWE. Now, Sonya Deville says she was shocked. She was very surprised about that. She talks about this, her recent release from the company. She revealed that the two sides were in contract negotiations before she got the phone call and told they will be renewing her deal. Now, luckily for her, she knows what she wants to do next. And a twist of fate days before the phone call, that's opened the path for her. Now, she reportedly she had supposed to agree to a new movie, and she's going to be filming a movie, whatever the name of that title is, we'll know at a later date. But she has said that she haven't even thought any of that thing out, and it's another thing still so new. Now, she says she's sure her feelings and emotions about this will evolve. Now, she said she has admitted that she had not initially grown up wanting to be a wrestler like most wrestlers do. But she did fall in love with the business. In the meantime, what she really wanted to do, her number one passion was to become an actress. And that's what she's going to do next. Now, also, prior to wrestling and also want to be an actress, she did have an MMA history. Now, her real name is Daria, if I said it correctly, Anito. Now, she's from New Jersey. She had an amateur MMA record of 2-1-0. Now, she only fought, 3 times? Her last fight was in March 8, 2015 in a UMMA. That was her last fight, and that is the University of MMA. Now, that was prior to her coming to WWE. But she's going to talk more about this in the interview that she did with her wife. And then we're going to see what really got her released. Let's check it out here.
I got the call. My contract was not being renewed with the WWE. I was in Washington, D.C. for a cheer tournament with our little one. I was actually running on the treadmill working out with our older one, Giovanna, and I got a phone call. We were in the middle of negotiations, and so I thought the phone call was going to be the middle ground that we met on, an agreement, a contract, and it was, we are not renewing your contract. So, for complete transparency, which this is really the first time I'm saying this, I was shocked. We were both shocked, I think.
Yes. And we weren't together, and she calls me and goes, they're not renewing my contract while I was at practice with the little one for cheer.
What did you think when I called you? Did you think I was messing with you?
No, I had a drop in my stomach, and I was like, what?
And because I haven't even thought any of this out. And that's another thing. This is still so new. So I'm sure my feelings and emotions about this will evolve. But I didn't think about any of that. It was just okay. Like you said, did I grow up wanting to be a wrestler? No. But did I fall in love with the business in the meantime? Absolutely. I fell in love with what I was doing. It was crazy how it happened because I wanted to be an actress. The thing Tony keeps referring to I wanted to do since I was 12 years old was act. My mom took me to my first acting class when I was maybe 13. It was an hour away from my house. She would drive me there. She'd sit there with me for 4 hours and watch me do monologue and scene study. So yeah, that was my first dream. The way that people fall in love with music and use music as their vice when they're depressed or sad or happy is the same thing I did with television and film. I was having a hard time in school in my adolescent years, and
That's Sonya Deville. She talks about that she used to want to be an actress when she was 12 years old. She said her mom took her to her first acting class when she was 13. and she said she used to binge watch a certain TV show with her neighbor. Now, she said that it was her first dream. She always wanted to be an actress. That was her first thing. So her getting released from WWE, or not renewing her contract, I should say, that really was not a big letdown to her as many would think. Now, she said that she has no animosity towards the company. She's not going to go in there and talk bad about WWE, say any negative things about anything or anyone in the company. She's very grateful for her run in WWE because she was there for 10 years. She was, she started with Absolution with Paige and Mandy Rose. And later on, it was the team of Fire and Desire with herself and Mandy Rose. Then she became a general manager, authority figure. One of the characters that I did like about Sonya Deville, and also Sonya Deville's a solid wrestler. She don't get enough credit. Now, I know she had an ACL injury, and she came back June of 2024, this past summer. And then she started, of course, her last stable before she left, PFC, Pure Fusion Collective, alongside Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. She was the leader of that stable. I know they was on Monday Night Raw. They really wasn't getting pushed that much, in my opinion. They really didn't do much with them. I thought they was going to do something with them, but they didn't. But meanwhile, she said she's booked her first big film project. Now, she said that it was 3 days before she got the phone call that she decided to go film that, and she got the call for a manager that she booked the role that she auditioned for. So she's very gracious for that. So that's good for Sonya Deville. I'm glad she's moving on. And with that, her going on to film a movie and, being an actress, that's her passion, I don't think we're going to see Sonya Deville in another wrestling company. Not TNA, not AEW. I think that's it for her. She could be one of those wrestlers that was in WWE that did not get renewed, not wait till her 90 days. Well, she actually now have to wait till 90 days because she wasn't on contract. I don't think she's going to go that route. I think she's going to go the film and television route. That's her passion. And you may see her in some films in the near future. Now, whether it's independent films or some movies that come out of the theater or Netflix, whatever the case may be, I wish her good luck in her future endeavors. But the thing about it is with Sonya Deville, she's a very outspoken woman. She speaks her opinion. She is a very proud member of the LGBTQ. She's the first open gay women wrestler. She's the first one in WWE history, maybe pro wrestling history for that matter. Now, I know shortly before she did get released, this was about 8 days prior. 8 days prior. I know she also did an interview here. Let's check this out here.
Original 13 colonies.
Okay, I don't know about that because my geography is terrible
Just
and
the
I
East
couldn't
Coast.
even name them. But right.
Like,
yeah.
do you care about, like,
No, to be
did
honest,
you really care that, like, LA's on fire? It's like,
I do care.
who cares?
But
It's not it's not real America.
The best people, the people I get along with best are from the Northeast.
Right? Because
my
we're just,
wife.
yeah, your wife, where's your wife from?
Long
Prior to that,
Island.
when you walked in dressed like a Japanese waiter, I said, she is,
I said Italian before.
but it's all the Axis powers. Do you know what that is?
No, and I don't want to know.
Okay.
Continue.
Because it's, yeah, all right.
Just sounds bad.
But let me ask you this: do you have anybody? And there's a reason for this question. Do you have you ever wrestled anyone Korean?
No.
You never have? Have you ever been very up close and personal to someone from North or South Korea?
I know what you're going to say already because
Tell
I
me.
did my homework.
What?
You said on another episode of your podcast that they don't have the ability to have BO.
No. I did say that on another podcast, but that's not what I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
I was going to
Why
ask
do you
you.
have so many? You were going to say that.
No,
and I ruined it.
I was going to.
Now
No, it
you're-
wasn't. I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if they if they listen to K-pop.
That was not what you were gonna say.
It literally was.
I killed your punchline.
No, you weren't.
So you had to
No, you
veer
weren't.
off,
I was gonna
take a hard left. And
No, I was
find
going to
something
ask
else.
you. I was going to ask you if you ever been up close to a Korean and if they're always wearing Uniqlo.
What?
Uniqlo, the company Uniqlo. Sonya Deville, everyone.
I deal with this every day.
WWE Monday Night Raw WWF coming at you
Out of
live.
here.
How about this? They'll say some men will just say, okay, I like your stuff, but most men will say, oh, my girlfriend likes your stuff.
Yeah, they feel weird just being a fan
right.
in general.
Which is like, hey, like, I'll get tweets all the time, like my show won't be sold out, and there'll be tweets being like, oh, dude, I would have came. The goal is getting, who you need?
Who?
Yeah, well, you have already. WWE, that's, you need groups of women, and you need the gays. The gays and the women, they will support.
Yeah.
So I get
We're loyal.
Loyal. I get a good amount of gays, and I get women.
So I'm your demo.
You're my demo. I'm trying to get the blacks. So how do we get the blacks?
Oh God.
Is that the name of the episode? How do we get the blacks with Sonya Deville?
How do we get Sonya to want to walk off the podcast is what you should name it.
That's great. No, but that's fine. No, but even this pod, like, your PR will get all upset. Nobody cares.
Right.
Now, that was the interview with Chris D. Comedy. Now, that was a podcast where she went on there. She was talking about on WWE life before and after Vince McMahon. Now, she has stated that there was no difference between working under Vince McMahon and Triple H. And she also, reason with this interview, this Chris D. Comedy, he's very outspoken. He said very cruel things like no one cares about the LA fire. And he also said, try to get, blacks on her side to, to be a supporter of herself, and then of course his channel. It seemed like he asked Sonya Deville to come on his show not to talk about wrestling because he didn't have much knowledge about wrestling. It's like he don't watch it at all. It was clout chasing, and he was trying to use Sonya Deville for it. And Sonya Deville, she says she watched this podcast before, and it seems like she went on there to try to say something crazy, in my opinion, for whatever reason, because like I said, she's outspoken. Now, one thing I didn't like, he was talking about, that according to Sonya Deville, said he talks about Korean body odor. I thought that was a little way too much to be describing that. Then the old LA fire thing. He just says a lot of stuff out of pocket. Now, I know he's a comedian. I don't find it funny, and I don't find him funny, for that matter. But I thought it was way too much. And I believe that this interview with Chris D. Comedy 8 days prior to Sonya, I think this interview got her released, or WWE decided not to renew her contract, because she was at that time in the middle of contract negotiations. I believe that this interview really sealed the fate of her not being re-signed by WWE, because they know this guy was very outspoken. He didn't really speak positively, just in general. You don't have to be at WWE. And WWE is a global brand. They want representation of the right people represent the company in a positive light. And they thought from my understanding, my educated guess is when Sonya Deville went on that show, she's supposed to represent WWE in a very respectable manner. She did not do that. She went all the way on the podcast, let this dude talk crazy. She was laughing. She decided to walk off the podcast. Sonya, why did you even go on a podcast to begin with? Knowing the knowledge of your research of this guy, that he talks crazy. I thought that was very unprofessional of him. And I would say that's what cost her job. And now that we know, hear what she said on her podcast, she really did not have a passion for wrestling like she does for acting. So it really doesn't matter. So I don't think it affected her that she's released. And like I said, I'm glad she went to move on and found something that she wants to do. But this is not good at all. I would say this interview cost her her job. She did not get renewed. There was a middle of negotiations. I would say if it wasn't for this interview with Chris D. Comedy, Sonya Deville would be renewed right now. Because she is a solid talent, underrated. I like her in the ring. She's been there for 10 years. So I don't think they had an issue with her until the interview came out. And no one's talking about this interview, but I believe that's what sealed the fate of Sonya Deville. And this is not a good thing, because WWE has changed now. Under the TKO banner and Endeavor, they are not about to be having all this chaos and nonsense going on and controversy all of the time. So they try to avoid that in the best way possible. And that's all I have for a real reason Sonya Deville was not renewed. Why did WWE not re-sign Sonya Deville? You guys let me know what you think. Click the links, check out the content, subscribe. Until then, I will see you guys later.